Is there something that you would like to try your hand at, but your fear of technology is holding you back? Perhaps it's something like writing a book, or maybe you'd like to start an online business. Maybe you thought about going back to college and taking online classes. Or perhaps you're lonesome and you feel physically and socially isolated. Or maybe you'd just like to leave a little piece of yourself behind so that one day in the future, perhaps your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren might enjoy watching and seeing you and hearing you. But unfortunately, you've got a little problem. Well, maybe it's not so little problem. Maybe it's a big problem. You've got this fear of technology that is holding you back. Does any of that sound familiar? If it does, keep listening because we're going to talk about that today. Hi, if we haven't met before, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy. If any of those previous statements resemble you, I can definitely relate. I almost hate to admit how much I can relate to those statements because in the past, I have been a total technophobe. Now, I don't mean just that I was a little bit hesitant or reluctant to use technology. I mean really that I was afraid of the technology. I didn't break out in a total sweat, but inside I'd get nervous and I'd get apprehensive. I really didn't like anything having to do with computers or technology at all. I think what I was really afraid of, though, was I was afraid that I would do something stupid, which was a pretty good likelihood, but that I would do something so stupid and I would hit a wrong button or a wrong key on the keyboard and I would break that machine. I mean, literally, I thought I would break the machine and they would have to come cart it off and throw it in a landfill somewhere. Now, while I was in education, I was lucky enough to have several great guys in the building who were always super nice and were always willing to come down and bail me out or help me do something. And I just cannot tell you how much I appreciate the kindness of those guys. They were wonderful. And to top it off, bless their hearts, they never made fun of me. Or at least if they did, they didn't do it to my face. And if they did make fun of me behind my back, well, I certainly deserved it and I had earned a little bit of making fun of. But in retrospect, there were some things that I really should have learned about the computer, about the technology, and about the software that we were using, instead of being so dependent on others to bail me out. But I was so afraid that I would do something irreparable that I didn't really go ahead and take the time I needed to learn what I was doing. Those visions of exploding computers were definitely running around in my head. Like literally, I thought the computer might blow up. So instead of learning what I needed, I just took the safe route and I called one of those men to come down and help me out. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to get help when you're unfamiliar with something. In fact, I would say that it's the smart thing to do. When you're unfamiliar, call for help, get someone who is more knowledgeable than you to help teach you and show you what you're doing. But here's where I really messed up. Those men were so nice to me that I did not go ahead and spend the time and the energy and the effort learning the things that I needed to know in order to do the job that I was doing. And for that, frankly, I owe them a very huge apology. Now, fast forward a few years, I've retired from education, and I have decided that I want to start a blog, and that I want to write, and that I want to do video. But guess what? I've got a little problem. There's technology standing between me and my dreams of doing those things. And now I don't have anybody I can just call to come down and rescue me. It could have been the end of a really nice dream, except that I had this fire in my belly to pursue this dream, and I was finally ready to get out of my own way and start learning the things that I needed to know. And that's the point that I want to drive home here today. If there is something that you want to do that requires a little bit of technology skill, quit selling yourself short. Quit telling yourself that you're too old to learn how to do this, or that you're just not good with technology, and so therefore it probably wouldn't matter how much you worked at it. Quit telling yourself that you can't do it, and quit believing that lie. After all, you've managed to get onto this platform, and I suspect you've managed to get on some other platforms as well. Social media, anybody? The truth is, it's not really that big of a leap from being a user of a platform to becoming a creator of content on a particular platform. Whether that means that you decide to learn to use WordPress so that you can start a blog, or whether that means that you decide to learn to use Scrivener or Plotter or some other software to finally write that book that's been rolling around in your brain, or whether it means that you finally decide to pick up your cell phone and start shooting videos of yourself so that you can post to YouTube. Technology really isn't quite as scary as some of us have managed to convince ourselves that it is. And here's the other thing that we all need to keep in mind. For the things that we truly are not good at, and trust me when I tell you, there still are a lot of technology things that I am not good at. But for those things, there are workarounds. There are people that you can hire who can help you. They're not exorbitantly expensive. One person that I recommend is named Terry Loving. She has done some work for me on my blog, and she's done some work for others. I know I'll use her again. She's good. There also are multitudes of videos and podcasts out there that you can learn things that you need to learn from. In other words, there are cheap workarounds that all of us can use to help increase our technology skills and to make us less scared of hitting a button and causing the machine to explode in our face. There's plenty of software out there that you can use to help you achieve whatever ends it is you want to achieve. For example, I'm not naturally a video editor. You might can tell that from watching my videos. However, I use Filmora software, and it is easy enough that even somebody who is not a trained video editor, like me, can learn how to use it and is getting better over time. It's not a complicated piece of software. Plus, if you get bogged down or something that you don't understand how to do, there's plenty of tutorials out there to help make it easier. I've also written fiction in a simple Word doc, although I know a lot of people will use Google Docs to do that. These days, my preferences are Scrivener and Plotter, and while Scrivener does have a little bit more of a learning curve, it's still something that's workable. Plus, there are courses and there are videos out there to help teach you how to use it. The point here is not to brag about the platforms or the pieces of software that I've learned to use. This really isn't about me. The point is that if I can learn to use some of these and to get past a very serious fear, of technology, that if I can do it, so can you. Technology does not need to be the reason that you hold yourself back and that you keep yourself from having and pursuing a dream. That technology piece, it's never come easy for me. Never has, probably never will. I have to work at technology. I have to put in time with technology. I have to be willing to make some mistakes and go back and fix them. I have to be willing to swallow my ego and my pride and ask others for help. I have to be willing to go find videos and tutorials that will help teach me the things that I need to know. Sometimes those videos I have to watch multiple times and take copious notes, but that's okay. There are ways to get past your fear of technology so that you can do some of those things that you have dreamed about doing. And it doesn't have to necessarily be all about creating things. You may simply want to learn how to get on a Zoom call so that you can visit with your kids who live far away, or so that you can see when your grandkids are doing some new milestone. Maybe they've just learned to walk and you want to be able to see that. You might be interested in participating in real-time online discussions about some topic or interest that you've got. You can also use technology to meet new people online and then chat with them face to face. I've met some very nice people and made some really good friends this way. You can use that technology also, like I said, to create those things that will be there after you're gone. Ask yourself what it would be worth to you if you had easy access to video and audio recordings of your grandparents or your great-grandparents that are now gone. How much would that be worth to you? The same answer that you give is one that your grandchildren or great-grandchildren will one day give in the future. The possibilities really are endless if you're willing to remind yourself that you are an intelligent, capable, and competent woman who is able to learn anything that you set your mind to and are willing to put the work into. And also, while you're at it, remind yourself that that machine you're so afraid of, it's probably not really going to blow up in your face. So, are you someone who's had some technology fears? If you are, leave me a comment. We might could compare notes.